This is the castle in downtown Boston. It was built 100 years ago because the upper crust of New England were afraid the riffraff might come after them. Well, it's 100 years later and nothing much has changed, except today it is the computer upper crust of New England who have gathered here, and they are under attack from the computer riffraff of the West Coast. This is the scene of the hassle in the castle, as two teams of computer celebrities battle it out to see who knows more about computer trivia, the Brahmins of Route 128 or the bad boys of the Silicon Valley. The finale of Computer Bowl 4 on this special edition of the Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles has been made possible in part by PC Connection and Mac Connection, mail-order software and hardware peripherals for the PC and the Macintosh, and the Software Publishers Association, providers of educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy.
Welcome back to Computer Bowl 4, presented by the Association for Computing Machinery. Boston's Park Plaza Castle. We've played 2 rounds so far, and the score is the West Coast 150, the East Coast 110. Now, for those of you, there's probably more applause out west, I assume. For those of you just joining us on television, let me introduce our celebrity panelists. On the challenger team from the West Coast over here, we have from Adobe Systems, Dr. John Knock Knock Warnock. From Slate Corporation, Vern the Ace Rayburn. The captain of the West Coast team, John Future Schock. The captain of the West Coast team, John Schock. Also, Ruth Ann the Mighty Quinlan from Alex Brown and Sons with her bottle of Jolt. And from Masspar Computer Corporation, Jeff the Killer Kalb. For the defending but endangered East Coast champions over here, from Wellfleet Communications, Paul Bearer Savarino. From the Technology Research Group, Andy M.C. Rappaport. The captain of the East Coast team, Charlie Johann Sebastian Bachmann. The tie is great, Charlie. The tie is great. And Dr. David Half Nelson from Fluid Incorporated. And from Ziff Davis Bill, the Elbow Macron. Our judges this year are Pamela McCordick and Heidi Roizen. Once again, our official examiner for Computer Bowl 4, the billionaire who is not running for president. Bill Gates, chairman of Microsoft. All right, the score, West Coast 150, East Coast 110. Let's resume the games, and Bill, go ahead.
Here are 4 acronyms: MIPS, LIPS, QUIPS, and FLOPS. Which of these acronyms does not describe...
Dave Nelson, East Coast?
QUIPS.
QUIPS is correct. What was the rest of the question, Bill?
Computer performance.
Okay. All right, next toss-up question.
In the early days of personal computing, there was a company named Kentucky Fried Computers.
Vern Rayburn West?
North Star.
What was the question, Bill? Hello?
Wait, okay. You're not going to say these, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct.
That company eventually changed its name. What became the new name of Kentucky Fried Computers?
North Star.
Great, Vern. Great.
All right, next, Bill.
The first personal computer from Digital Equipment Corporation was called the VT-18X. It was a CPM machine. What was the nickname of the VT-18X? Was it the Robin?
Jeff Kalb West?
It was the Robin.
The Robin is correct. Another 10 points for the West. Okay, Bill.
When DEC introduced the Robin, it was meant to compete with and devour a competing personal computer whose nickname was the Worm. What company?
John Schock, West Coast.
was Xerox, which made the Xerox 820.
That is not correct.
What?
All right, finish the question. It'll be 20 points for the East if you can get it.
What company developed the worm? Was it Apple, Radio Shack, IBM, or Hewlett-Packard?
Anybody from the East going to take a shot at this? For 20 points. That you badly need. All right, Andy?
Radio Shack.
Radio Shack is not correct. The correct answer is Hewlett-Packard. Hewlett-Packard. All right, next, Bill.
Last year, one of the designers of the Intel 386 chip was interviewed on the 700 Club by Pat Robertson. During that interview, the designer said that God was responsible for the success of the 386. Who said that? Was it Gene Hill, Ted Hoff, or Gordon Bell?
Paul Severino, we know you watch.
Ted Hoff.
That is not the correct answer. All right, no consulting over here, but I need somebody to ring a buzzer on the West if you want to take a shot at that.
Yep, don't you read the question again?
I completed the question.
Yeah, the question was completed. Anybody want to try? Jeff Kalb rang his button. You're going to have to give me an answer.
It was the first one, but I can't remember what you said.
It was a multiple choice question. I'll give you the answer.
I don't think that will do. I don't think that will do. But you're right.
This is
No, the answer was Gene Hill, and you can't just say the first one, and we can't repeat the question twice. Judges, Pamela says, meaning? Heidi says yes, Pamela says no. Yeah, no, I think that's not the correct answer. Okay, let's go to the next question, Bill.
If you found the following three characters in an MS-DOS file name, $, %, and +, one of those characters would cause the file name to be invalid. Which would be the illegal character? The $, the percentage sign?
Bill McCrone?
Plus. I'm sorry. No. I didn't mean to say that. The percent sign. He said the percent sign.
That is incorrect. Would somebody on the West like to try to answer the question? No consulting? Somebody ring a buzzer and I'll recognize you. Yes, John.
the percent.
What did you mean to say?
But I meant to say the plus.
Bill, what's the answer?
The plus sign.
The plus sign. And Gene Hill was right.
All right, relax. Everybody relax. That's too much jolt, that's the problem. All right, we are going to go into our next bonus round, and this is for the East Coast. The score right now is the West 170, the East 120. You guys need the points. You can earn 30 points in this bonus round, and the subject is DOS. What is the name of the DOS command that finds logical errors in the file system? You can consult. I need an answer from Charlie.
Check disk.
Check disk is correct for 10 points for the East Coast. MS-DOS version 3.3 introduced a new command, the call command. What does the call command do? I need an answer.
It allows you to call a batch program and get a result back. Return back. Subroutine
Say that
back.
again.
It's a subroutine call for a batch file.
Bill says fine. Sorry, judges. All right, you got 20 out of the 30. Here's your last chance to get 10 more points. Category is DOS. What does the erase command do?
It'll erase a file, same as delete is file.
Well, I'm sorry, there is no erase command in DOS. Next, Next question, Bill.
Cream is the name of a public domain bitmap font. It is based on the bitmap font used by a popular programming language. On what language is Cream?
John Warnock?
Smalltalk.
Smalltalk is correct. 10 more points for the West. All right, the score right now is the West 170, the East 140. Next question, Bill.
What electrical property is measured in farads?
Paul Severino?
Capacitance.
Capacitance is correct. 10 points for the East Coast.
It is generally conceded that the daddy of today's 7-pound notebook computer is the Osborne 1 portable, which came out in the early 1980s. How much did the original Osborne 1 portable weigh? Was it 15 pounds, 19 pounds, or 23?
Bill McCrone East.
23 pounds.
23 pounds is correct. Another 10 points for the East. Moving right along.
In the early 1970s, the TV show Candid Camera employed an executive named Michael Schreier. In 1975, Schreier developed one of the...
Vern Rayburn West.
Electric pencil.
The electric pencil is correct. Did you finish the question, Bill?
First versions of what we know today as a word processor. What was the name of Michael Schreier's pioneering product?
Okay, well done. Next question, Bill.
CISC is a computer industry acronym. What do the letters...
Dave Nelson, East Coast.
Complex instruction set computer.
10 points for the East. Absolutely correct.
In the 1960s, IBM had a computer called the Model 7090. It had one peculiar quirk when you issued a read instruction to the printer. What happened when you gave a read command on the IBM 7090? Did the printer read some input? Did the computer tell you to take a break with a good book? Or did the computer tell you the current time?
Bill McCrone East.
It told you the time.
That's correct. Told you the time. All right, we are going into the next bonus round. A very close match here. 190 for the West, 180 for the East. West Coast, this is your bonus round. A chance to widen your lead. And the subject category is IBM. IBM once introduced a computer known as the Model 5150. Under what other name is this computer more commonly known? For 10 points.
Was there a desktop APL computer?
Afraid not. 5150 is the IBM PC.
The 5100 and 5110 is what they were thinking.
All right, you missed that one. For another shot, you can still get 20 points. Subject is IBM. When the IBM PC was first introduced in 1981, how much memory did it come with?
The base configuration had 16K.
16K, correct, for 10 points. All right, 10 more points. Here's your last chance in this bonus round. What was the IBM code name for the PC Junior home computer?
It was codenamed the Peanut.
Peanut is correct, 10 points for the West. Okay, let's take a look at the score now. It is West Coast 210, East Coast 180. This is the end of round 3. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Computer Bowl 4, the hassle in the castle. We are in the final round to see who is the champion of computer trivia. The score right now, the West Coast ahead by 30 points, 210 for the West, 180 for the East. The final round, Bill, let's get going.
A well-known computer in the former Soviet Union in the 1970s was the Minsk 32. The Minsk was a copy of a well-known American computer.
Dave Nelson, East Coast.
IBM 360.
That is not the correct answer. You can get 20 points in this. Bill, continue the question.
On what American computer design was the Minsk based? Was it the IBM 360, the Data General Nova, the HP 9000, or the DEC PDP-8?
He Need someone to ring a button on the West. Sooner rather than later. Jeff Kalb.
It's the PDP-8.
That's the correct answer. 20 points. 20 points for the West. Okay. Next, Bill.
Hewlett-Packard is often known as HP for short, but the company is also famous for a calculator input methodology called RPN.
Jeff Kalb, West Coast.
Reverse Polish notation.
Reverse Polish notation is correct. That's what RPN stands for. All right, next, Bill.
When IBM first introduced floppy disks as a storage medium, what was the size?
Jeff Kalb, West Coast.
8-inch.
8-inch what?
8-inch floppy disk was the diameter.
Diameter was 8 inches. Okay, thank you. Next question.
The Robot Theater at the Computer Museum in Boston has the first fully mobile robot that proved itself by navigating through the laboratories at the Stanford Research.
John Schock, West Coast.
The machine was called Shaky.
Shaky is the correct answer. Go ahead, Bill.
The first business computer was not built in the United States. It was built in England.
Jeff Kalb, West Coast.
It was Leo by the Lions Tea Company.
I'm afraid that is not the answer to the question. This will be worth 20 points to the East Coast. Bill, continue.
And it predated the UNIVAC 1. The computer was built for the Lions Tea Company. Who designed and built the computer? Was it Alan Turing, Charles Babbage, Maurice Wilkes, or
Dave Nelson, East Coast.
Maurice Wilkes.
That's correct. Maurice Wilkes is the answer. That's 20 points for the East. Go ahead.
A well-known computer industry personality stated his famous software development law as follows: adding manpower.
Dave Nelson, East Coast.
Fred Brooks.
Fred Brooks is correct, but it's a great quote, so finish it, Bill.
Adding manpower to a software project makes it later.
All right, we're going into a bonus round. And this is a bonus round for the East Coast. The score right now is West 260, East 210. You can catch up and get 30 points in this bonus round, and the topic is computer books. Here's the first question for 10 points. The terms virtual reality and cyberspace came from the cyberpunk genre of science fiction. According to Paul Sappho, John Brunner is credited with writing the first cyberpunk novel. What was it called? For 10 points. Need an answer.
Shockwave Rider?
Absolutely right. Very good. Okay. For another 10 points, the computer terms Little Endian and Big Endian are used to describe the least significant and most significant bits in a computer word. The terms come from Jonathan Swift's book, Gulliver's Travels. What did those terms stand for in the original book? Little Endian and Big Endian. Oh. I need an answer, gentlemen.
First and last fingers.
No. There were two groups of people in the book who ate eggs from the little end or the big end. And they were the little Endians and the big Endians.
Endians.
Endians. I said Endians.
Not Indians.
All right, you've got a chance for 10 more points. Last question in this bonus round. The book The End of History and the Last Man was written by Francis Fukuyama. The author dedicated the book not to a person, but to a computer chip. What chip did he dedicate the book to? Poor man. What chip did Fukuyama dedicate his book to? Quick. I need an answer. Yes?
8086?
No. It was the 8386. Sorry. All right, the score now at the end of that bonus round is still the West ahead by 40 points, 260 for the West, 220 for the East. Bill, let's continue.
Plan calcul is the name of a computer language used by an early computer pioneer?
Ruth Ann Quinlan West?
Zeus.
Zeus is the right answer. 10 points. Next question, Bill.
Borland founder Philippe Kahn first started using a personal computer in 1974. What was the name of Philippe's first?
John Shock, West Coast.
The Micral.
Micral is correct. Another 10 points for the West. All right, next question.
Next, we're going to show you an artifact from the Computer Museum.
If you look out front, you will see this gentleman wearing something which is from the Computer Museum's collection. Can everybody see that? He's got this sort of helmet thing on his head.
This is a virtual reality helmet designed in 1970. Who designed it?
Hey,
You're there. John Shock, West Coast.
Ivan Sutherland.
Ivan Sutherland is correct. Thank you. Next question.
While many people think of the Osborne 1 as the first real portable computer, there was an earlier sewing machine-sized luggable computer marketed by the Digital Group. What was the name of the predecessor to the Osborne? Was it the Bitbox, the Bytemaster, the Felsenstein, or the CompuCarry?
Vern Rayburn, West Coast.
The Bytemaster.
That's right, 10 points. The Bytemaster. Guys are tough. Okay, next question, Bill.
At the West Coast Computer Fair in 1979, the first clone of the Apple II computer appeared. What was the name of that Apple clone?
Vern Rayburn, West.
The Franklin.
That's not the correct answer. Continue reading the question. It'll be 20 points for the East.
Was it the banana, the orange, the apricot, or the wine sap?
Anybody like to try it? Paul Severino?
Apricot.
I'm sorry?
Apricot.
That's not correct either, I'm afraid. The answer is the orange. Next question, Bill.
Bill Hewlett has been awarded the National Medal of Science. Steve Jobs and Gordon Moore have been given the National Medal of Technology. But one computer pioneer has received both the National Medal of Science and the National Medal of Technology. Who is that computer pioneer? Was it David Packard, Steve Wozniak, Robert Noyce, or Bill Gates?
Bill McCrone?
Robert Noyce.
Robert Noyce is the correct answer. Very good. All right, we're ready to go to a West Coast bonus round. West Coast, you are ahead right now. 300 points for the West, 230 points for the East. You can start to put it away. As they say, the subject is famous people in computing. Ada Lovelace is known for many things. She was the first programmer. She was a friend of Charles Babbage. She was the daughter of poet Lord Byron. But she also had a very famous half-sister named Mary Shelley. What book did Mary Shelley write?
Frankenstein.
That's correct for 10 points, Frankenstein. For another 10 points on famous people, while some computer pioneers are famous for dropping out of college, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak decided to go back to school after he developed the Apple I computer. What university did Steve Wozniak attend?
He went back to UC Berkeley.
That's correct
under
for
an
another 10
assumed name.
points. All right, here's your last 10 points in this bonus round on famous people. Some computer industry CEOs have unusual backgrounds. The CEO of Knowledgeware is Fran Tarkenton. His former employers include 2 NFL football teams. Which 2 teams did he play for? I need
The
an
Vikings
answer.
and the Cardinals.
That is not correct. The Vikings and the New York Giants. Sorry. All right, we're at the end of that bonus round. You're still ahead. The West has 320 points. The East has 230 points. Here are more toss-up questions, Bill.
The Atari company has been through ups and downs since its founding. It migrated from video game consoles to personal computers when it was bought by former Commodore head Jack Tramiel. From who did Tramiel buy Atari?
Andy Rappaport.
Warner Brothers.
Hold it 1 second. Judges, what do you think? All right, I need a quick verdict here, ladies.
We'll have to say no on that.
Yeah, I think no is correct, so we're going to go over to John Warnick on the west.
Warnico.
Judges? We need a quick
It's not the
verdict.
same.
No, it was Warner Communications, I'm afraid, is the name of the company. You were both close, but no cigar, as they say. All right, we're running out of time. We have time, I think, for one more question. Bill, go.
What does the acronym DIN stand for?
Bill McCrone, East Coast.
Deutsche Industrie Norm.
I think yes. You just didn't finish the last one. Deutsche Industrie Normanausschuss.
Okay.
All right.
We'll give it to you.
They call it Norm for short.
All right, I am told we are out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, what does that mean? That means the West Coast, with 320 points, has won Computer Bowl 4 against 240 for the East Coast. All right, regaining the title as champions of computer trivia. Congratulations to all of our panelists. Thank you all for joining us for this 4th annual Computer Bowl. Special thanks to the Computer Museum, ACM, and all the sponsors and underwriters who made this event possible. Now, for all of you watching at home, that is it for this week's special edition of Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles has been made possible in part by PC Connection and Mac Connection, mail-order software and hardware peripherals for the PC and the Macintosh, and the Software Publishers Association, providers of educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy.
Videocassette copies of this program are available. Computer Chronicles also publishes a companion newsletter containing details on products demonstrated, plus background information on program topics. To order a videocassette or a subscription to the newsletter, call 1-800-366-9484 or write Computer Chronicles. Please specify program subject for tapes. All orders include a free software program for auditing software use.